On this week of Tech Talk Taco Tuesday, there's Moose Talk, why you shouldn't run untested items on something as important as the Tour of Idaho, motor diagnosis. There's Silma on this week's show, also with a pre-recorded sound from Jason Thomas. So stay tuned.
Live from Pahrump, Nevada, the Valley of the Dirt People, it's Tech Talk Taco Tuesday with your hosts, Jimmy Lewis and Logan Tyler.
Live?
Now you are.
Now we're live.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. What's the audio intro?
The one we used last week.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Erica's friend?
Oh, yeah, that thing. Yeah. Did we get the new one?
The new one?
The same one?
I didn't see the new one yet, no.
Yeah. Welcome to Tech Talk Taco Tuesday. This is Logan Tyler.
Yep.
And there's a hat on the chair next to you.
Yeah, there is.
I'm Jimmy Lewis. And this is Tech Talk Taco Tuesday. Put the hat on.
This early in the show, really trying to get the 3 million followers.
Right. I've got a lot of stuff. Actually, I need to send a text message out about this too. So this is the show where you answer your motorcycle and motorcycle related questions. In all seriousness, this show is dead serious. Try to keep it on the level playing field. But Logan was a bad boy this week, so we don't have a dunce hat. It was just usually we thought it was all about getting ratings. That didn't work, so we're going to go with a whole new scheme to get more ratings. And it isn't you wearing the hat. This is a punishment, not a reward, by the way. We're going to talk about why Logan has to wear that hat in a little bit longer, and we're going to try to get to the bottom of this because I like to investigate things. I like to be presented with the facts, and I still don't know where we stand with this whole thing. I'm a little bit confused, which is normal, but it's more confusion than usual. Matt, how we doing?
Doing good. I'm still adjusting the audio because you are a little hot.
Okay.
I've touched nothing since that intro.
I'll touch something right over here.
Yeah.
Like that. Well, Ricky Braybeck.
Yeah, he's in the chat.
Well, I know he's probably done riding. He's been riding for like 3 weeks straight or something. And I think maybe he had a day off. I don't know. Haven't talked to him.
Maybe, yeah.
We're going to go do rally training like next week, so it's game on. No rest. So we have a lot of questions that we source from different places. But hey, here's how you can support this show. By the way, as a matter of fact, if you click through on dirtbiketest.com, that's the website that this is all affiliated with. That's real easy. It's just dirtbiketest.com, just like the name says. You go there, and if you go to any of our Fresh Dirt stories, down at the bottom of the story, there's always an Amazon link. If you click that, that's what's keeping the lights on the website. The lights on this are only being kept on because of my off-road riding school, because I actually needed to have a studio to do the podcast with those, so I subsidized the Tech Talk Taco Tuesday thing with that. Lucky Logan works for cheap. Right now I think he's working for negative. I showed him my tax bill a couple weeks ago and explained to him the 2 little line items on the schools. I don't have any children, so indirectly I'm supporting your education. And I try to teach you something every week on the show, hence why you're wearing the dunce cap. And other than that, we're going to have an affiliate program with another sponsor here pretty soon. So when you go buy your motorcycle parts, all of the ones that I recommend here, I just say just go buy this and buy that because I'm just a shill for all these companies. When I become that shill, you just use these links and then we'll get a small chunk of that. So things are going good. But longtime helpers of the show, Climb makes super awesome gear. I'm sure everybody's aware of that. We have DDC sprockets. Anytime I wear out a stock chain and sprocket, I call up Nate at DDC and replace them with those because then I never have to replace at least the sprocket again. And I have a lot of motorcycles running those sprockets currently. Taco Moto has been helping us out. He's been helping us get these converted from this awesome visual format you're so used to seeing put onto the internets as podcasts.
And I do want to thank Taco Mike personally for bearing with me earlier this evening.
Oh, was he trying to? Oh, you guys we were trying to get connected in another way on the digital sphere.
I was jealous of the place that he went to for tacos, though.
Why, did you hear people like dying?
No, he sent me a picture of where he went to, and it's a really good spot.
Were there dogs barking?
No dogs barking.
Because that's how you tell a good taco shop, because the dogs are out there barking, because they want to get in, and that means you're not eating them. So just a word for the wise.
Yeah, more you know.
So Logan uploaded his segments for Taco Mike, and I heard there was dunce cap worthy moments in this, right, Matt?
Yes, Logan. So
We have a code for you. You need to decipher this code.
So I need to know what TTT number 63 ASDF means.
Is that like the title that I forgot to change?
That was the title you forgot to change.
So yeah,
And you uploaded it.
I wasn't sure if that one actually uploaded. So that's a problem.
So this is like when all this stuff goes out to the worlds, everybody else, and they see that. I look dumb. I look like I let that slide. So, but at least now you look dumb and you're paying for it. So okay, that was one thing. That's only that's a small thing because Matt went and fixed it. Good boy, Matt. Yeah. You didn't do anything bad yet.
Yet.
So let's drop right into the questions. So we got some good ones. The way to ask questions on the show is we always put up a Facebook post just before the show, a few hours before. That's where we go to for the first questions that we're going to answer right now. Then we kind of scour our YouTube comments and stuff to grab the rest of them. And, of course, you can always ask them live. So we have a chat room going and all the different formats. We kind of collect them all and put them up, and every once in a while those will flash up on the screen. You get to see what everybody else is saying.
Like
you can
right now?
You can do it right now. Yeah. That would be a great time to do that.
It's already been up there. Yeah.
But who can read that? What if you're looking at it on your phone? Just make it the whole screen.
Whole screen?
We don't need to see me and Logan anymore. There, look at that. That's our chat.
Oh,
If you're listening to this, everything I just said didn't make any sense at all. But that's the way this works. So question number one is, so you can ask in that chat, and we will generally get to your question by the end of the show. The first ones go straight, the good ones go right to the thing, like Jesse just commented, and Jesse's a regular viewer of the show. Don't worry, Logan, a lot if Jimmy's articles have misspellings. And that comment has a misspelling, and I read it exactly the way that Jesse said. Don't worry, Logan, a lot if, he meant to say of, a lot of Jimmy's articles have misspelling. So, Jesse, we're all in the same boat, bro. Mike Warren asks this question. He sent a picture of his really sweet 94 YZ250. He said, not for Roost and Endo, really. Maybe he was really trying to get in. But my 94 YZ250 is pretty stock except for bibs, handguards, pro circuit pipe, and silencer. He should have used some commas in there. I would have been able to read it better, right, Logan?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're how you doing in English? Doing okay?
I got a 93 right now. Which
Right
is pretty
on.
good.
Okay.
What about math?
Mike's question is, what could I do to make it a little bit better? He says, I was there about V-force reeds. He was thinking about V-force reeds. And so that's a really good modification for any two-stroke is reeds. There's basically, there's a few different options, but the main ones are there's stock, there's Boysen, and then there's V-force. And in my experience with most bikes, the V-force tend to smooth the bike out ever so slightly, but just make it kind of little better throttle response. It's more responsive, which people say feels like less hit, i.e. smoother. But in reality, it actually, to me, gives it more hit. But that's what those do. The Boysen reeds actually give the bike more hit, and it seems like, especially on some of their reed setups, more power kind of pronounced in the mid range. So more of I would call it like an aggressive power band with the Boysen, where the V-force tend to spread it out, and so. The pro circuit pipe and silence, and I do remember this from those years. The pro circuit stuff actually was. Let me get this straight, because it's the pro circuit and FMF are like the opposite. One was always smoother, and then one was always snappier. And then you go to four-stroke stuff, and it was the exact opposite. Don't know why those characteristics came through, but I'm pretty sure that at that time. The Pro Circuit 2-stroke stuff tended to be a little bit more snappier. So if you're looking for more snap, it would go really good with the Boysen, in all honesty. If you're looking to kind of smooth that out a little bit, I would go with V-Force, and that is a really good modification. It's one that's kind of often overlooked, and be prepared to do a little bit of jetting, kind of usually on the pilot and the needle clip position to get it working just perfect. So, yeah, that's the answer to that one. You want to handle the next question, the long one, Logan? Because I'm getting kind of thirsty.
Hello, my son and I attempted the Tour of Idaho. We had to retire on day 8 because of 2 moose failures for our learning. We're trying to nail down why. We probably will use them again.
Okay, hopefully not the same mooses.
Yeah.
They want to use mooses again. You know what's really awesome is Logan. Look at this. You look like just a giant talking taco.
Yeah.
That's good. Keep reading. Head down.
We're assuming the main reason they broke down was the heat we rode in the first 3 days. It was 98 the first day, 103 the second day in the desert, and 95 in the third day. Another thing I think hurt us was the added pavement miles because of all the fire closures this year. We don't have that much experience with bibs, but after talking to Mike Knight and Brett Carlson, we bought some. They both finished the tour on 1 moose last year. We never rode faster than 50 throughout our attempt and bought the sizes from Nitro Moose's website. These swab in salmon, put on new tires and tons of lube on day 5. The original tires and mooses were put on in Bristol by Bristol Power Sports.
I hope Martin's watching this show. But how are we going to pronounce that again?
Bristol.
Sound it out, bro. Come on, we're going to get this one.
Pocatello.
There we go.
Pocatello.
There we go. Somebody notify Martin. Put a timestamp. Put a timestamp on that. This is good.
With tons of lube. In hindsight, we should have put tubes in at salmon, which is the halfway point. We couldn't get more mooses at the time because everyone was sold out. Are we missing something else? Is 50 miles an hour on pavement too fast? Thanks in advance, David and Scott Green.
Okay, so David actually was really good all day today. We were kind of going back because I had some further questions, which I'll kind of get into this. But I'm gonna roll back into just, and this is where you can learn something here. Everybody can learn something from this. You're gonna invest, 8, 9 days, 10 days into going on a ride, and I'm gonna try something brand new on my motorcycle that I have no experience with. This is the root cause of the failure. My wife taught me root cause analysis because that's what she does for her job all the time. So now I like to throw that around because it makes me sound smart, right, Logan?
Yeah.
Yeah. So never ever use something you're unfamiliar with if it's untested. This is probably the biggest thing where I see failures in people's rides, races, stuff like that. Test it before you need it. And I know a lot of times you don't have that much time to go out and test something. But if you're going to make this big an investment in time, plan accordingly and don't switch up what you know. So in that essence, tubes, if that's what you're familiar with, and you don't have tube quote failures, and you know how to fix the tube failure, that would have been kind of the go-to. So. And I'm not faulting him for trying because he may have asked me for advice earlier and say, hell yeah, run mooses. I would. These days I would. When I did the tour 7, 6, whatever years ago, the only reason I didn't use mooses is I had not had consistently repeatable 14 and 1500 mile usage on a single moose in a single tire at that time that wasn't, I mean, I had that many miles, but they all had like an asterisk next to them. I mean, I was testing something specific and it wasn't similar to what I was going to be doing. So, like right now I would have told him the exact same thing. Yeah, take the, run the moose. But so here we're going to start going down the steps where we ended up. 98, 103, 95. Has it been lower than those temperatures at all out here in the last month?
No.
I have mooses in all my bikes, and when I've been riding them because it's too hot to do tight technical stuff. I've been going faster, riding higher speeds, like from here back to Prim and back and stuff. And the heat isn't really the ambient temperature, the outside temperature isn't really that much of an issue. Whether it's 80 or 110, I don't think it's that big of a real deal in the grand scheme of things. So I wouldn't go and blame the temperature. So the other thing is 50 throughout, and you never went faster than 50. I'm not worried so much about the speed either. I mean, I would give you up to 70. I would say just don't go over 70. Especially on dirt roads where the tire is like constantly spinning, like on a gravel road where you're just spinning it, because that generates a lot of heat. I would be more worried about you going 55 slamming desert hoops, which there aren't very, very, very few on the Tour of Idaho, or spinning it a lot. That would cause some kind of premature wear, excessive wear, more wear than normal. But in normal dual sport riding, we're not hitting that kind of stuff. So I'm not so worried about the speed. The speed isn't going to be that bad. Although that's one of the things that's a way you can get it to fail, but it usually takes a lot of excessive high speed and just the tire never getting a chance to kind of cool down. So I don't think 50 was kind of a thing. So the question I started asking him, and he said, I was kind of surprised, like, why did you put a new tire? Why did you change the tires? Like when I did the tour, I started on the same tires I finished on. I had tubes in them, and they were still good for a few days. They would have survived. I mean, once they get to a certain wear level, they kind of stop wearing. And I mean, they were bad. Don't get me wrong, but they had a little bit of life in them. But so I wouldn't have changed my tires halfway through, especially if they were mousses, because we all know what a pain in the ass a mousse for most people is to change. And then I asked the question, like the big question. He said they lubed him up, and the guy was all dirty and messy. I'm like, what did he use for lube? Because I know what tire shops use. They use like oil soaps. They use, because that slips the tire over the bead very effectively and then becomes sticky, and essentially. It's not like a specific mousse lube. And I think I've said a few times, on this show and in some of the videos and stuff, use the lube that they send with the mousse because it's formulated to work with. So I suspect when you got the nitro mousses, you installed them with the lube that they sent, which is good. And what do you think? It was Murphy's oil soap that was put in his mousse. So that's what really caused your failure. Because, well, not only it absorbs into the mousse a little bit, and because he sent a picture of the mousses and they're destroyed. They're on the sides. They're all kind of cut and they're also very clean.
Oh, you get clean hands.
Yeah.
Here's the moose.
Yeah, we have a picture of the moose on there.
It's going to cover you and Logan, but
so yeah, that's okay. It looks better than my head. There's a essentially the mousse has started to kind of break itself apart, and you can see the center is actually still good. Usually when mousses go bad from heat, they go from the inside out. And this one, so that tire basically that lube ran out, it dried out, and then the friction from the tire started eating up the mousse. So, and he also said he said he saw them really lube the mousse up, but when I do a mousse and he'd watched my mousse changing video, I put all the lube inside the tire. I hardly lube the mousse up at all, even though they tell you to do it 50-50. I put it all in the tire because I know it's in there. Because a lot of times when you push that tire in, it especially on a good tight fitting mousse, which was my next when he told me, if he had told me, hey, they put real mousse lube or the proper stuff in there, a petroleum based, mousse lubricant. I was going to go silicone based. Yeah. So, but they're petroleum a lot of times, not petroleum.
He uses silicone.
He used, yeah. Well, I know. Well, it depends. There's different stuff in different mousse lubes. So
I'm talking about Nutex. It uses silicone.
is a silicone based, yeah. So when I put it all in the tire, and then when I get the tire in there, there's usually enough that kind of comes out, that spreads out around it, and then I use that to lube the part that's kind of going to touch the rim. Or if I need to add some more, if it seems kind of dry. But even when you pop that mousse down at that point, it will wipe a lot of that off. So I'll actually put it in the dish of the rim. I'll put some lube in the dish of the rim just to kind of keep everything lubed up. And I don't have mousse failures. They don't happen very often. And I have tested, for the sake of testing, I ran out of lube, and I used to use a long time ago, like in the early days of mousse, we used to use the Murphy soap. But I just recently I ran out one day and I needed some, and said I knew it was going to come off pretty quick, so I went ahead and put it on, the Murphy soap, and it worked okay for the 1 or 2 rides that I put on that one. I popped it out and I said, okay, I'm going to keep testing this. So I actually put it in there, and I put it in without having the rim really covered up, and I put water in there. I added water into the rim. This is what I do. This is how I find this stuff out. When I pulled it off next time, it was bone dry inside, and it had started to. So that water rinsed it out, or it helped it do whatever water and soap does, absorb in. So, grand scheme of things, so that's kind of one of the things that was a problem. And then, so the next question was, if that had been, I said, did you make sure that you had the right size mousses, and were they kind of, if you're going to do that length of time on there, I would put a little bit bigger one in. I would, like we do, like if you saw the size of the mousses they shove in the rally tires on the rally bikes, how big of a thick of a mousse it is when they pop those things in there. That's why they can last, because they don't need them, squirming around, and they don't want that tire slipping on the rim either. So, man, I'm bummed, David and Scott, that your tour went a little bit south. But yeah, I'm sitting here thinking, if I ran Nitro Mousses, knowing what I know now, knowing with the experience that I have, or Michelin Mousses for that matter, I'm wondering if I would even carry a tube, just a single front tube to prevent the problem. So, yeah, that's what I would do. Sound good, Logan?
Question?
Oh, he's got a question? Your dad's he's raised his hand?
Yeah, I don't know.
You don't just blurt out like Bob does.
Not yet.
Okay.
A set of mousses and new tires costs about $400 to $450.
Yes.
Extra set of mousse lube is $3.99. How much?
$3.99. Yeah.
Extra set,
Right.
So you can overlube.
So we're looking at the price to overlube and have the right stuff.
How much money are we possibly saving with tire soap?
I don't think at that point, so the question is, like, were we saving any money with tire soap? I don't think it was saving money. I think it was what was on supply and what the tire shop was used to doing. And it will kind of get the job done. And maybe that's why people are so afraid of going fast, because they have mousse failures and they go, oh, it's because I went too fast. And I'm like, no, it's probably because of what you put in it. And I get these kind of questions all the time, but that's why I asked questions back. I didn't go right away and go, oh, just going too slow. And this is going to get me to another thing I want to talk about later. I want to talk about some of the groups, the group pages. Remind me to do this. Put it on the thing, Logan. I want to talk about the group pages that offer advice. the free with the Mr. Know-It-All and the Mr. Know-It-All and the guy that's always first to raise his hand and that sits in the front of the class and always kind of spurts out an answer. I'm going to tell you why this is bad and why we should maybe police this a little bit better, at least in our communities. Mm-hmm. It's not going to work in the real world because, everybody wonders what I do all the time. Besides when I'm not riding motorcycles, I'm usually on the internet giving out medical advice, psychological advice, and political advice. So, next question.
So, I don't know if we want to move on to the next question, but there was actually some good questions in the chat about pertaining to this.
Okay, let's go.
So
David Green.
Yeah, first off, David Green said, good thing to know. Let's see, so Jesse Grant, what is the percentage of on and off road that is safe for a moose? Only reason I don't get one is because I don't want to worry about it falling apart if I have to do a lot of road riding.
I don't think it's a percentage thing. I think it's kind of like a feel. If you're riding on the road, I think it would be over speed limit. So we're talking, like on the highway, over speed limit, 70 or 80 miles an hour for long periods of time. And long enough because I think the heat will slowly build up, but it also cool down relatively quick to, compared to its fail temperature. It's hard for it to get into the fail zone. I mean, you really have to push it. So I just don't see if you're going to ride the interstate for 50 or 60 miles at 70 miles an hour, I'd be a little concerned. I would say, okay, that's probably not the best thing. Would I do it once? Yeah. Would I do it like every time and expect the moose to last? Well, you're not gonna. You shouldn't be running a knobby at that point either. You should probably be running a street tire or something. So, yeah, I don't think there's a percentage. I think it's kind of just by feel. And if you have to do that much road riding, consider tubes, I guess.
Another good question was from Todd Kelly. He was asking if it's normal to see some of the lube coming from the bead while out on a ride.
Oh yes, yeah. I mean that stuff. When you have enough in there, it'll try to get out every place. And like when you actually do some pretty hard hits, even on a nice straight rim, it'll squeeze out the side. It'll like pressurize. I mean, it'll try to come out the spoke nibbles. It'll try to come out of your rim lock if you have that. If you don't have your valve stem sealed up properly. A lot of times I still have the valve stem seal. I cut a tube out and leave it in there so I can bead the tire through that thing. I love to watch Logan and George and Jim try to air my tires up on some of the rental bikes that have this. I had to start spray painting them so they knew that wasn't one to check because it had a moose, because like sometimes the stickers fall off, But yeah, lube coming out is pretty normal. Any other ones there?
That was pretty much it for the moose. Everything else is stuff we can come back to later.
Yeah, I think, like I said, David, he says, they're kicking themselves over not bringing a spare tube. And like I said, I think just to err on safety, put a $20 tube in it's space at that time. It's not parts. It's just having space, and then a method to pump up that tube. And I have this. That's actually a Nitro Moose thing that they make. It's a little tiny pump. It's about this big. That you can, and you can achieve pressure. It takes a long time, but it doesn't take that much space when you're on something like the Tour of Idaho. Because it's essentially, for those that don't know, you're kind of 10 days sort of, pretty much self-supported with very little places to get things like that. And if you get a flat tire out in the middle of nowhere, you've got to fix it out in the middle of nowhere. So, okay, next one.
Red C63AMG. Considering either this or the KTM, but 500s are in very short supply, how much performance, if any, would the average rider feel with a 350 instead?
About 17 horsepower. Just guessing. If it's stock. I mean, but then if you've done the ECU mods, then it could be plus 5 to 7 horsepower in either direction, depending on. Isn't this the question we on? Oh no, we're just talking about the average rider would probably not feel any performance difference if we're talking about power. This is where you're going to say, Jimmy, how can you say this? Well, because generally you need a certain amount of horsepower to achieve what you're going to do. And both of those bikes will deliver that amount of horsepower, right? Except for when you want to show your friends how fast your bike is, then the 500 will produce a little bit more. But for normal riding, under normal situations, they're both going to produce adequate power. The one advantage the 350 really has is in weight feel. It feels 20 to 30 pounds lighter at any time you are riding the bike, except for when it falls over and it lays on the ground. Then when you pick it up, it only feels 7 pounds, or the difference between. They're more than they're only 2 pounds apart in weight.
2 or 3 pounds.
350 and 500.
Yeah.
I haven't checked the specs lately. So you will feel exactly the difference that they tell you they weigh in the scale when you're picking it up off the ground. But you should never do that. So the 99% of the time when you're riding it, the 350 will feel a lot lighter. Now, when you're riding it and you just whack the throttle, the 500 will feel, a little bit more robust. It'll pick up at a lower RPM and pick up. You can achieve the same thing by just riding at a slightly higher RPM in the 350 if you want to, but usually you don't need to. You do not need the kind of power that a 500 puts out completely stock. So, I thought everything was in short supply, 350s as well. So, I think that's a good question though, but it's when I ride them back and forth intermittently, and I mean, for the more desert stuff, I mean, I do like the torque and the ability to let the 500 chug down at lower RPMs. And like where I went in that ride I showed you the other day I was on a 500 and it was just wonderful. Although it's a beast when I started having to hop over logs and pivot turn and all that stuff like that, it feels like a 500, but it can do it. I probably would have been better on I was kind of asking myself, should I have taken the 350 for this ride? Because I didn't really expect to go there. It was sort of I just said, oh, guess what's up in front of me? I'm going to go ride there. And I went. And, I ask myself all the time, oh, wouldn't that have been a better bike? And wouldn't it? And it's like, at the end of the day, I'm just happy on what I'm on. So, man, I hope Red C63 AMG, I hope you can get the bike of your dreams, whatever size it is. So, I forgot what we actually were going to have a special guest on this show. Are we ready for this, Matt? You're able to pull this off?
Yeah.
Okay.
I can pull it off pretty easy with the click of a button.
Good. And that's why you're the professional over there. Has the feed dropped yet?
No, it has not, actually. It's been good.
That's good.
Yeah.
So we were going to have a special guest on this show, but his schedule got a little bit tied up, so we actually pre-recorded we were going to just be a little segment. And we ended up talking about helmet safety. And so grab the Fly helmet down there, Logan, one of them. I got a hold of Jason Thomas, who is he's the Fix-It, what do you call himself? Make connections with.
He was like the brand manager and get in front of
problems.
Yeah,
is kind of what he said, which really this isn't a problem. You actually kind of helped me out because I've just been wearing the Fly Formula helmet a bit. We got one with a set of gear, and I've heard a lot about it, and I wanted to know a little bit more about some of the helmet safety stuff that they've got built into this helmet. I have experience with the Climb helmet with the Koroyd. I mean, first head experience, I would like to say, and a lot of the other stuff. And I haven't had a chance to use this yet. Use the helmet. I've worn the helmet, but I haven't used it. I don't want to. Never want to. But I've heard him talk on other podcasts and just doing some of his work. I've heard him talk about. He's one of the few brand guys that actually talks openly about all the stuff and had a really bitchin' discussion. And we will get this uploaded, but here's a little excerpt that you can see from when we were talking this morning.
A little preview.
Right. So inside the helmet, you have these Rheon energy cells, right? So there are, I believe, 7 inside below the liner of the helmet that are embedded into the cone head EPS system of the carbon formula has cone head EPS. So the beauty of Rheon, when it really comes down to it, is ultra lightweight, which is incredible, right? That's how we get such a lightweight helmet. The carbon that's just to your left there is 2.79 pounds. It's incredibly light, especially when you factor in that it has to pass DOT, so we have to reinforce the chin bar and things there too.
Yep.
But the magic really is, for a helmet, you're trying to accomplish 2 goals. You're trying to slow down any sort of linear impact and absorb that energy. And then, of course, the rotational that we all learned, 6, 7, 8 years ago, how critical that was to be able to disperse that rotational energy.
You want it to rotate a certain amount.
Sure.
Correct. Yeah.
Right. Well, you just want to be able to allow the energy to be deflected instead of transferred into your brain. Right. So the helmet and the energy, regardless of the system you're using, if the helmet or the material inside the helmet can slide and rotate a minute amount, that is going to absorb the energy. That's going to let that impact be shifted away from you and absorbed in that slide or movement, which is the Rheon material actually moves itself. instead of your brain moving inside your skull. That's in the most concise
Simplest.
nutshell you can make, right? Is if the material moves and the helmet slides versus your brain sliding inside your skull, you're accomplishing everything you'd want to.
And
Coming back on.
so that's a little bit of what you're gonna see in our interview that we'll upload. And I mean, I learned a bunch, and we talked a little bit about, some of the helmet testing we did back at in Dirt Rider days, which I can't remember because I've hit my head since then. And then I started thinking it might be actually a good idea for me to wear a helmet on this podcast now, just in case I say something wrong and Logan starts hitting me because he's getting a little bit bigger. But you look really special in that hat, by the way. Just like, should we get into the hat, Logan? The second reason for the hat?
I guess. Get it over with.
Why don't you hold up your prize, your trophy?
Oh, this one? Yeah, I'm glad that this
Hold
is
it up to the camera.
Oh, you thought there was some? Is there something else that I'm going to learn about?
Logan,
I thought there was.
Oh, you thought there was.
There you
Yeah.
go.
Yeah, I didn't know anything, so I was assuming that I.
So you know
something else.
how we tell you on this show that we repeatedly say that every single brand new bike you buy, regardless of brand, will blow up, and they're going to break. They're designed to blow up. Well, Logan actually managed to achieve this goal. He tried pretty hard, so that is a head off of a 2020 KTM 250 XC TPI.
No, 300.
300. Oh, it's 300.
Yeah.
I thought you had 250s. Okay, 300. Shows how much I remember. So right when it, what was the first thing I said when you said it blew up? I said, did it run out of water, or did it just do something funny? So what did it do? I'm gonna ask you these questions.
So, in goal, it ran out of water, and then continuously ran on. So you were on the bike, although so this is where it gets kind of confusing, and we'll get to this. We'll just do the thing. So you're riding this bike. Yes.
And you don't know that it's leaking water.
No.
Okay. And you're on kind of higher speed roads, kind of 2-track stuff?
For a bit.
And then you got into some slower stuff.
So the slower stuff was at the beginning of it.
Uh-huh.
So it was
running
quarter
fine.
mile.
It was running fine then.
Yeah, quarter mile. It started running on, like ping ping after I shut the throttle.
Right.
That was the big red flag for me.
That was on the single track.
Yes.
Okay.
Hop on 2-track.
Okay.
Still.
Wait. Okay, so it's doing something funny on the single track.
Yes.
And you didn't stop. You felt it doing something funny.
At that point, I thought it was me.
Okay.
Because I just wasn't
Okay.
feeling it that day, and so.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So you weren't feeling it, and so somehow so the bike was picking up your aura, and it was turning that into detonation and run on.
Yeah, I thought I was just leaving the throttle on.
Okay.
Yeah. So hop on 2-track just because the single trail ends.
Uh-huh.
And come.
Kind of shifting up through the gears.
Yep.
Did it go away, or you didn't notice because you were always on it?
No, it was not super high speed stuff. So it was on, turn, and then get back on. So it was still doing it, and it was
How many miles from the single track now have we gone farther?
1.5.
Okay, 1.5 miles. Okay.
So I'm like, okay, try and figure out what's wrong. Is it loaded up? Try and clean it out. And I was
okay.
listening. I listened to your, I think, 300 the 300
video
something. Yeah.
Right.
And you said something about whenever you get in high elevation, the emissions thing, that thing makes it lean.
That was on an earlier version, and that's an update that's been since cured, so I don't think it affects your bike. But okay.
I heard it, so I was like, worth a shot. Something's wrong. Try something. So I turned the bike off.
Right.
Okay. Start back up. Does not start up.
Oh.
So I was riding with my cousin that doesn't really know the area. So I hop on my dad's bike that he was riding.
Oh, you loaned your new bike out to that guy
My
again?
nephew, yeah.
Oh, what a man! I wish I knew you when I was his age. I could have had better bikes all the time. Okay. So now you've hopped on a different bike. You left your
Yes.
bike there with him.
With him, he
And-
starts pushing it down the hill.
Okay, you
And
went to go get
Get
help.
service and
Get cell service because you're out of cell service,
get
right?
a smarter brain to
Okay,
tell us what to do.
right.
As in my dad. And so I hear him behind me. So he pushed it for about a half mile, and then he tried it and started up. So it must have cooled down. And he rode it for a while. We were going 6th gear, 3/4 throttle.
Okay, so
Which
he
was
he caught you.
Yes.
So you were going 6th gear, 3/4 throttle.
Well, I was going 6th gear, half to 1/4 throttle.
Okay, and he
So-
caught you.
Yes.
So you was hauling ass.
Yes.
Okay. On the
So-
bike that formerly wouldn't start, but now it had managed to start
Yeah.
and run.
So
Yeah, it fixed itself. Like motorcycles tend to do this all the time.
yeah.
So like just you loose wire, just jiggle it. Okay. So here we are.
So we start heading down the hill fast, adding heat. So, and then we hop on the trail.
Oh, you went back to trail riding.
No,
You're gonna get
no,
back. Oh,
no.
Okay.
No, we hop on.
I hate to interrupt, but Jimmy, can you turn it down a little bit on your end?
Okay. Turn it down.
So we
There we go.
stay on 2-track for the rest. So, and then, so we rode it for a while. He hops in front of me because the trails
How many more miles?
from
From him getting on the bike, how many miles have we put on it?
5.
5 more miles. Okay,
Ish.
of sending it. Got it.
Yeah, ish. So and
I'm just
then-
assessing how durable this thing is
Yeah.
at this
It's way more.
point. Yeah. So okay.
So then motor goes kaput. So it goes blah.
he was on the
He
bike.
was on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So technically, you didn't really blow it up.
No, I did not.
I think
I blew the piston for sure.
Well, anyways, and then it's dead, and then now we're back to where we are now.
Yeah.
Where
I think it was blown up and then
it was. I wouldn't call it. I would. It's funny because when we this I heard this story, and this is the first time I've gotten. Now I understand who was on the bike.
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of heard that he was on the bike when it finally blew up, but I didn't really hear how hard he had to send it to really send it to where it went now. Does he have a good job? Make a lot of money?
it worked for me.
Oh, geez. Oh, so he's not getting a paycheck the next couple of weeks, is he? Yeah. So when Logan held up the cylinder head, what you saw was a hole in the top of the cylinder head, and he'll hold it up again here. So you're seeing it, and I've never ever seen this before. In all honesty, this is the first time. There's a first time for everything. At least created this way. Usually, I've seen pistons break and do this, or a valve come off on a 4-stroke and go up and punch holes into, like usually through the cylinder. So this hole was into the water jacket, and so the water all poured out at that whatever water there was. But when did you add water? Because that's the part you left out of this story we just had.
So we added water, the rest in our camelbacks when
After it went kaput,
after it went kaput.
but not before.
No.
You might have saved yourself a lot of money had water been added earlier, I think. Because so what happened is there was no way to cool the cylinder head other than just
Yes.
through the metal. And with that little thin sheet, I bet you it was glowing red hot. You know when you heat something up and it gets glowing red hot, and then it just
Yeah.
goes and opens up, and that's what happened there. It was probably just I really wonder what it sounded like. Like that sound. Hopefully he's etched that sound into his head, so when he hears it again, he stops. Actually, if you even start getting close to that sound, because it's a horrible sound. Like the sound it made before it did that, it should have been like running on, like you were talking about, and doing all this pinging and detonating.
I don't think he was chopping the throttle. Like we hopped on a road and he passed me and it was pretty dead. No reason to hit the brakes.
Uh huh.
But
So-
you'd still hear it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, it'll ping and detonate. Like when that thing is that hot to start melting, it's like a spark plug that's on the whole time, and so so any fuel that's going in there is like catching on fire before it's actually compressed so it makes really horrible. I know this from experience, and my experience with this was a little Yamaha JT60 that we hooked onto a go-kart, and we were able to simulate those kind of conditions, but it was air cooled. So it didn't have a little thin head. It was really thick, but we could actually melt things inside of it. And I became familiar with the sound, because then I have to go, and don't try this at home, braze the piston back together, because I was not capable of welding aluminum, but I could gas weld, and I brazed the piston back together multiple times to get this thing working. So this is when I was your age. I was brazing pistons. So that noise should just, so this thing is a you didn't call the warranty department, did you? Because everybody else would.
I thought about swapping them with my 300.
And run. Just drop the top end on top of it and said, I don't know what happened here. It just stopped running. Yeah. Might work. I mean, we didn't talk about it on the show, and nobody listens. Like, we have 2 viewers, so you can probably pull it off. Besides, anybody at a motorcycle shop wouldn't be paying attention to any good information like these days coming out. So actually, did you put pictures on the internet yet and say this is what happens to your KTM 300? Like if you just go trail riding, because he was just going trail riding, and this just happened. So what we can't figure out though is we can't figure out where how the radiator hose area got kicked or bent, and then if that's indeed where it was leaking the coolant from.
Yeah.
I
So
it did come out of the lower left radiator.
Yeah.
So you're wearing the hat, Logan, for not putting water in right at the beginning, because that's probably when it detonates and runs on, that's a sign of overheating. And then did you tell him to stay there and wait for you?
No, I told him to. Well, I didn't tell him anything. He was the one.
You made his own mind?
He had the plan. He said, "Go get serviced. Get someone with not a teenager mind." And
that's a smart move.
That is kind of a smart move to go for help. But
and then he comes up rolling behind me.
Hey, do you think he'd want to come on the show and wear that hat for like an hour and a half just to make up for?
No, probably not.
No, okay.
Why not? The hat's stylish.
Hey, Chris Real says just blame the oil. That's what I used to do when my bike seized all the time. So it's just you do what you do.
Yeah.
Anyways, so we're gonna try, because see, now I'm really worried. You know how I used to loan you motorcycles all the time and say, "Hey, Logan, ride." It ain't happening no more. It's a long walk.
Bet you his stator probably looks better than mine.
Yeah. Oh, we'll get into you in a little bit, right? It's like Bob's raising his hand.
I'm just wondering if that kind of failure is from the fuel injection system having different, because it's all different now than the carburetor as far as where the gas flow and the flame front is, and I'm wondering if that's
if it was. You're saying it was maybe able to run longer because of the fuel injection. Yeah, and get to that point. So here's, it's funny. We talked about this earlier when it came in. I said, there's a lot of cold air coming into that motor when you're running it like that. It's actually pretty cool air, but it does turn into an explosion very quickly and then produce heat. But like that cool air might have been keeping that thing cool, because the piston had very few scar marks on it. In fact, when I looked at it, I bet you most of those scar marks on that cylinder and piston were from the debris that went down when that thing finally let go. And that's why I was asking about, hey, what speed was it going? How was it doing it? And the other thing, so the first time, like when it stopped and it said it wouldn't start, we were kind of surmising that maybe it kind of had collapsed the rings. It was probably so hot that they could have lost all their tension. They could have become very rubbery, for lack of a better term. But it also, I'll bet you the fuel injection system couldn't figure out, like, at that point that besides the cylinder head temperature gauge had melted. It was a piece of plastic goo So maybe it wasn't even sending the right kind of signal. Maybe it went into some sort of a default where it was so hot it said, "Hey, we're not running," or it couldn't actually get fuel into the motor. It would actually vaporize, before it would get in there. Who knows? Does not work like it was supposed to, because you think about where it's shooting. It's shooting into the transfer ports, and that's a really hot environment. At that point, it might have it would literally steam out before it could get combusted. It's no longer like an air fuel mixture. It goes in there and it sort of steams out and goes right out the exhaust port. So,
I think injectors can get too hot to work too.
Yeah. That's a possibility. I don't know all these things. I don't think this bike was designed to operate in this environment. You exceeded the design parameters of the vehicle at that point, Logan. So give yourself a round of applause. Yes, Bob.
So did you ever admonish Logan to do what we used to do in the old days when we ran out of water and we reached down and turned the choke on and drove the thing on the choke? Where it was more
ran out of water. You didn't have water in your bikes. They were air cooled, Bob.
No, it's when we got the water cooled bikes and the water leaked out.
Yeah, I used to have a choke lever on my handlebars that I would, on my 125, that I would pull when it was going wide open across valleys to just enrich in the circuit to help keep it a little bit cool.
So your gas mileage gets cut in half with the choke.
Oh yeah,
but it runs cool enough that it won't seize.
Yeah, it'll cool the bike down. It made it. You could feel the bike after you let the choke lever back up. You could feel it gain some power. Right. It would actually kind of cool down. But anyways, so yeah, good job. And so Matt, on the other hand,
yeah. Oh,
Matt,
here, I can pull up an image of my find.
Yeah. So Matt here is Team Husaberg, by the way. But he's only got it's only a 300. That doesn't deserve a bell. Come on, guys.
Well, mine doesn't deserve a bell because,
it doesn't really run right now.
Well, when I was Logan's age, I was not the best at maintenance, and I'm paying for that now.
Yeah. Well,
it ran over here. It's just
yeah. No, it runs, but it's like kind of a. It's kind of a shame. I mean,
I'm perpetually scared that it's going to stop running every time I ride it.
So he took the advice that we had in the last show. He had this dream of a full frame and rebuild. And I know what he's thinking in his head. He's thinking, paint the frame and get new plastic and put graphics on it and some blingy parts and all this stuff. And it's like, well, it's got to run. Let's start with the running comes with the rebuild. Yeah, but that's not what you were thinking. I know this. You were thinking.
I wanted to start from the ground up. I wanted to do what I did with that 125.
Yeah, you wanted a beauty queen, a garage queen. You wanted something that was just really just.
Is there anything wrong with that?
Your pocketbook.
And it was going to get over time, yeah.
Yeah, and no, well, yeah. Then you wouldn't have a bike for like 6 months. I want to get you on a riding bike. And then fix the problems, because if you run into something, so go ahead and throw the stator up.
Yeah.
And this was part of the thing. This was an unexpected thing that we found when we started going through this, and this is what you will find when you start doing rebuilds. I mean, good on you for rebuilding it, but it's like the stator has gotten so hot at some point that it's cooked all of the coating off of the windings. Yeah. And it's funny because I remember about 5 years ago, when all of a sudden Matt says, my battery isn't charging anymore. I remember this.
I don't actually.
And I'm like, well, why isn't it charging? And he's like, oh, I don't know. And like, well, does it start? And he goes, no, the starter doesn't work. I'm like, so what do you need the battery for? And it was like, he's like, well, the lights don't run, because he had a nice headlight on it and all this. There's some other stuff. And it was like, okay, let's find the problem, which actually didn't occur. And this is what we ended up with. And I'm kind of confused as how this happened. I could see, okay, the voltage regulator, something went wrong with the voltage regulator, but we don't have a way of checking this right now. That maybe there was something going wrong with the battery, where it was somehow, because the one or two coils that are in charge of the ignition are still good. They're cool, but all the ones that provide power to the battery or power to power the system are bad. So this is an item that needs to be replaced, and it's just going to start adding up. But at the end, we'll have a very nice running motorcycle, and then we can work on making it pretty. And so the second phase was this was the one side of the motor. The other side, we knew there was some issues with the clutch, and there were some issues with the clutch.
Yes.
The dampers were the dampers in the thing were. It has a Hinson basket in it. It used to. We took it out, right?
Yeah. We never could get it to work right. Like I even had you come over and try to help me get it to work.
Because it came from Bob. Okay, so this is another Bob bike.
I never touched it.
This was here. See how quickly that like I didn't do it. Not me. Yeah. Just put your mask back on. We spend when people are lucky enough to have purchased bikes from Bob, you spend a certain amount of time what we call unbobbing it, and you're going to find little things that were modified, usually for lighter weight or for some sort of perceived performance increase that you would find someplace in the bowels of the internet. Maybe not even the internet. I think you have to go on the dark web to find the stuff that Bob finds ways in which to modify his bike. And so there was probably something of that in the clutch. Mm-hmm. Some shim was milled down, like 3/1000ths, or he put some sort of an ovalized clutch basket in it for some sort of perceived inertia advantage. I don't know where he gets this crazy ideas, but something like this has happened. And you noticed your clutch basket was out of round.
Yes.
Yeah. That was the dampers, by the way. The dampers allowed it to come out of round.
I know exactly. We know exactly what caused that.
So, but anyhow, so I remember we took the Recluse out and let's say, hey, let's put it back to stock because the Recluse was never functioning properly. And for me, there was something fundamentally wrong. And since I couldn't start with something that I knew exactly how to work, I didn't even know where to look for the secret sauce that you put into it. I don't know where it was, what you hid in there. I still go back to that the internals of the master cylinder on the brake. You won't remember. COVID fog. It's okay.
Is that the one where you called me and I sent you a new one?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, which was difficult because I needed that bike like in 20 minutes to do a class, and then what you had done had come undone, and it ground a hole in the slave cylinder.
There's a fine line between brilliant and stupid.
Yeah, I run it all day long. Off to the wrong side most of the time. Okay, so let's get back into what's next. How about some of our YouTube?
Mike P says, "Nice hat, Logan." That's
from last show. So this is the third reason that you're wearing that hat because Mike P liked it, and so you can blame blame that. Okay, next.
Creator on Wheels. Been literally binge watching 100s of Adventure 390 videos since a few days, and inarguably this is one of the best described videos I came across. Worth the 25 minutes where you talk about genuine plus and minus than just reading out what's on the spec sheets. Thanks a ton, Jimmy.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Creator Wheels on Wheels. It's nice. What does Big M say? Big Earn.
Yeah, was hard to watch.
How do we get? I guess we should just go to look at the names, right? What's Big Earn? Well, I'm always curious about who's telling me this kind of stuff. So Big Earn has a bunch of R&B videos in his list. He didn't make a video, but he has a lot of R&B videos and how to cut hair. It's like I don't.
Is he a mortician?
Well,
Big
I'm not Earn. I don't know. Big Earn. Maybe he's a money launderer like Big Earn. I think if he had the hair cutting videos, he just sees me as a non-client, so he just tossing me off. It's like, okay, no big deal. I wanted to know why it was hard to watch so I could improve, but that's my fault. Next.
Justin Wells. Cool bike, but goddamn is it ugly.
Yeah, he's talking about the KTM 390, and I always wondered what would possess you to why would you want to say that? I guess you'd say that if you were standing around with your buddies, but now you don't have any friends, kind of like me, and so we just type things in the internet. Is that how it works? And then you realize everybody in the world can see it, and it's like, was that necessary? Okay. What does Mr. Car Guy want?
Now we just need a front wheel drive bike.
Mr. Car Guy watched our KTM 1190 video. Hey, I found the whole collection of videos, so we need to make that. We need to make that video. You need to go make a banger reel of 1190 video clips that our awesome videographer George shot. You know, he'll tell you how he shot that one, but I don't think he did. I think Jim shot the one. Jim wouldn't even know how to turn the phone on. Front wheel drive bike. No, you don't want this. I tell you, you do not want this. And I know this because I actually took the chain off of one of my regular Cristinis and rode around in front wheel drive. So number one, it fries the clutch very quickly, the clutch in the Cristini system, because it only takes a certain amount of power out of the wheel. So when you really hook up, it tends to fry it. But I remember, part of my job is to break things, so I did. But I tell you what, a front wheel bike handles like dog poop. It's really, really bad. What's next? Hey, it's time for. I'm going to try some new tequila here.
I see there's 2 shot glasses.
Oh, really? Did you notice that?
Yeah, I did notice that.
I didn't want
that second one was for.
I didn't know. I didn't want Jimmy to sit over there and feel all jealous. The other Jimmy, but no, it's for you, Matt. I don't know who's. This is actually some really nice stuff. Some.
So only half a shot.
No, you can get a full one. Dobel Diamante, and I don't know. This is actually an interesting.
Well, if the show goes to shit, we know why.
Yeah. Well, I'm trying to give you excuses before we go there.
Right.
So okay, go ahead and hit the next question there.
Gear hire. Jimmy, great review. Surprised you didn't comment on the limited turning radius. Had to have dealer modify mine for tight northeast single track 2020 beta 200RR.
You know what's funny about this is I didn't comment on the turning radius on the Beta 200, and I took it places where I needed the turning radius, and it didn't bother me. It wasn't like there's certain KTMs, especially adventure bikes, that have really horrible turning radiuses, and this the Beta did not bother me that much. So I wonder if like I said, he took it back to the dealer. It's very simple to adjust the steering radius on those bikes, most of these bikes now, because they have steering lock nuts. And I wonder if his were just set a little bit farther out, and then that's all the dealer did was go in, and because that's how you would adjust it, and it's actually pretty simple to do. What are you saying?
No, I'm saying how else
Yeah,
could you do it?
yeah. That's how other than grinding the steering stops, which I've done before on bikes. I've ground steering down. More often than not, I've added steering stop to bikes. And this was on some of my older bikes that I just didn't want, because a lot of times we had to put like bigger radiators on them, and you didn't want your fork leg hitting the radiator. Or a lot of times we'd actually move the radiators back a little bit. And this is like race bike stuff, specific to a certain bike. We'd actually move the radiators back to get a little bit more turning radius on some bikes. So these are all the kind of things that we do. And actually, if you listen to Jason Thomas and I talk about, like when we talk about the helmet safety, at the end we start talking about, I rode his race bike back in the early 2000s, and he's a smaller dude, and he had his bike set up. And I told him, I said, I hated your bike, like your bike setup, but I appreciated how well it was set up for his thing. And it wasn't so much the size, he had taller foot pegs and a lowered subframe and all that stuff like that, bars that were in an awkward position for me. It wasn't so much that. His motor hit like a brick shithouse, and I remember this to this day. It's like, I hate bikes that do this, but he explains why, and he's got a valid reason, and that's why it's not good or bad. It's his bike, and my job at that point was to describe it so that maybe, in all honesty, it's for entertainment. You're working in a magazine, you're talking about riding, different privateer factory bikes, different things like this. Everybody wants to know, like, hey, what is really the difference between a factory bike and a privateer bike and things like that. But at the same time, maybe, I would learn how guys set up their bikes for what reasons, because I was always, somehow get back and ask them. And I don't remember who wrote the specific story on that bike, because we all like had to write about 2 different bikes. I may have wrote it, I don't remember. But if I did, or if somebody else did, they probably talked to the rider. They should have talked to the rider. If I was the boss, which I think I was at the time, I would have made them talk to the rider to find out why the bike is set up like this. So kind of not as an excuse, but it's like, so we can learn. It's like, I like this for this reason. And we kind of went into it, which is pretty cool there at the end. So kind of a cool thing.
I kind of felt bad for Jason, because you could tell he was used to explaining why his bike setup was like that, and he also mentioned everyone hated his bike.
Everyone should hate his bike. Most people should hate my bikes. Like and most people actually hop on my bikes, and they're kind of prepared to hate them. They really like. Because I talk about it, my setup is kind of unique. But it's like generally smoother power, but I have a very sensitive throttle, I want it to respond, very instantly, but I don't want it to become hit, which hit is uncontrollable power, is what I like to call it. It's so like when your bike is carbureted, it has a little bog before it takes off. That's hit. It's and like. When a good rider will get used to when that works, so we'll turn the throttle just a little bit earlier, knowing that it's going to do that, and you'll kind of control it that way. But now with fuel injection, you get 1-to-1. But I'm pretty sure he probably did have to explain it to a lot of people, but it worked for him, and that's good. And maybe someone else would be saying, "Oh, I ride like that. I'm not very good at turns, so when I want to come out, I want to come out with a blaze of fury. So you want this kind of setup, or I'm really bad at carrying momentum up on a jump face, and I need that little brap at the end to control my attitude of the motorcycle. So good on him for setup. But the same thing with something simple as turning radius. That it bothers me on certain bikes, and other bikes I'm never in a position where there's a turning radius issue. So, next time a couple 13 millimeter wrenches, and you'll be happy with the turning radius, or maybe it's a 13 and a 10 on a Beta. I don't remember which one it is, or maybe it doesn't even have it and they had to grind something. So, what does Sam or T want?
The way you always know when someone needs something is amazing.
Okay, this one drove me down a pigeonhole. So this is I've been accused of doing this before, and I had to ask a couple people that are probably smarter than me. Like, is this a slam? But I know that I do this. Like when you're walking up with a cylinder head in your hand, I already know that. I need to beat you into a pulp so you don't do it again. Like that's how that's an expensive problem. But the reason it's because you're not the first one that needs this. It's through experience. It's kind of like things tend to repeat themselves, and I see it, and I just kind of identify that thing. But I couldn't figure out what Sam or T was all about. I think I looked at his profile to see. It looked like he just started up his web page about 10 minutes, or his YouTube page about 10 minutes before he sent me the comment. So who knows?
Travis J2.
I wish somebody would know when my tequila gets a little low. You're not allowed to though.
Yeah,
you can't serve.
Yeah, mine's getting low, but
it's good though, isn't it?
Oh my god, it's fantastic.
Actually, it has a little bit too much of the. I want to call it the Jose Cuervo taste. There's like a tequila. There's a certain tequila taste that one of the strains that I don't really like, but everything else is really good.
Instead of messing around with wires and ECUs, just chuck a 1-tooth down sprocket on it. It gives you the same result for $20.
So Travis J2 is talking about the KTM 390 again, because we actually, put a Cooper ECU on our bike, and we're really impressed with the power increase that it gave the bike, especially kind of it gave it torque everywhere, and then like in the upper mid, I'm starting to try to figure out how the hell they did this, like because it increases the rev ceiling by quite a bit, it lets it rev it lets it rev till it gets way past the red line mark. The whole ECU is flashing, or not the ECU, but the whole dashboard is flashing bright red. It's like, too many revs, but it's only around 11,000 or something like that. 12,000 is not too bad. But what he suggests here is for $20, which is, you can get a different sprocket. And I hope he's talking about the rear sprocket, not the front. But I guess you could do the front as well. But that'd be like doing 3 teeth in the rear, 6 and 1/2 dozen, or the other. It does give you a little bit of the same, like, pickup. It'll give you some pickup, but it doesn't change the power. It doesn't do the same thing. It makes it feel a little more sporty because the gears are a little closer together, and most of the time that way you'll be in a little bit lower of a gear, so there's a little bit better pickup. But it definitely doesn't do the same thing, Travis. I can guarantee you that with 100% certainty.
Chris Luca, can the tank be mod?
KTM 350 video. He's talking about the 350 EXC, and so the answer is yes. IMS and Acerbis both make options for that particular gas tank, and I like no capitalization. Can the tank be mod? This is like he's really compromising on the amount of characters he's using in that. I'm kind of surprised it even gets a question mark at the end.
Yeah.
That's good. He's kind of speaking your language though, right?
That question mark is unknown to me, so
You don't use it. Well, the fact that you read that like you wrote it, like that, I would actually struggle reading that because I would probably not turn it into a question. I would like almost do it like a statement.
yeah.
Yeah. So, okay. Next.
Chris Brown, did you use the Decat Cougar kit or just the ECU?
So on the KTM 390, we did not decat it, and I know there's a kit for that. But at the time they did this, there were no pipes available for there were no pipes that I would put on the bike. They were all really loud, kind of road racing exhausts for the 390 Duke, and not what I would I want something that's like sensible to ride around, and I don't really like loud bellowing pipes on that bike. So it's just the ECU, and we actually had to do some tunes on it. So it went back and forth a couple times because they were still trying to get the right characteristics for the 390 Adventure as opposed to the 390 Duke. So it was not the DCAT kit, although I suspect you could probably get even a little bit more power on that. What we got any questions roaming on in the chat?
We got some good questions.
Oh
the chat.
dear, here we go.
So this first one that I thought was pretty good from was it Kyler Stoker? 19.
Call him Curly.
Curly, got it.
Right.
So 1984
that's not his name.
XR200 will kick and fire up every time without fail. Will run until it gets hot. Then Thor comes along and takes away all the lightning, and it will not start back up. Once the bike cools down, fires right back up. New plug, new coil. Friend even put on new ECU on it. Thoughts?
I was straight up going to the coil, because that's the symptom of a coil. When they'll do fine when they're cold. Once they warm up, they go bad.
Stator too.
84 XR200. Is that the twin carb? Is that Kyler? Is that the twin carb one? I think it is. I think in 84 they might have had a single carb and a XR200 and an XR200R. They actually had two different bikes at that time. But I was going to go straight to the coil being bad, and now I'm starting to think I don't know why it would be wires, because if it's cold, it's kind of like something when it's cold. If it has something if it's the 2 carb one, I'm gonna guess cracked intake manifold it would be the next thing, because I know those intake manifolds were rather brittle, and so when, like I said, when it's cold for some reason they're fine, and the minute it gets hot it doesn't. They start sucking air. Don't know why. Yeah, yes, Bob.
when the pulsar coils get hot.
Pulsar coil, but I think that's part of the new coil, unless it is a separate part. Yeah,
It's on a stator.
the pulsar coil is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
It's the rev counter.
Yeah, that's probably that's a good thing too. That's what I was telling you about on your Husaberg thing. That's why I said replace was the pulsar coil. Could be, that's another good one. That's the same thing, just like a coil. It's an electrical part that gets hot, and once a little wire starts vibrating and sending mixed signals. But usually the pulsar coil, I found that when they do heat up. Believe it or not, my Husaberg 570 actually lost one of those. Yeah, it's because it's really. Well, let me kind of explain this to you. It has a little bit to do with the rotation of the Earth, and when that motor, like before the Husaberg engineers made this motor, they had to calculate the force that the engine was going to be putting out because they didn't want to affect the rotation of the Earth and cause climate change. So going down to the smallest piece, like the pulsar coil, there's it's kind of like time-space continuum and warpage and things like this. So I had a problem with mine, and they're hard to get, that little part. But I actually found one off of a KTM RFS motor that luckily bolted right in and it solved all my problems. And much to some of my friends' demise, the Husaberg is currently the fastest, most powerful dirt bike on the planet. I'm not taking questions. No comments. Yes,
Got it. That's why it's off the charts.
It is off the charts.
Okay.
Well, we're going to play Rooster Ender. You better get that board down.
So this next question is one that I have some feelings on. It's from Andy
BJ.
Andy BJ. Yeah. I don't know if I want to say that. Say the second part of his name. Anyway, Jimmy, I have a question. Do you feel disappointed the Japanese brands for not really trying to compete in the enduro/off-road world? Yes, I will give Yamaha some points here, but a long way off.
I wouldn't say they're not trying to compete. I think that it's a business. They're trying to make money. They see where the money is made. It's in motocross bike sales. And when we've got to figure out a way to, we'll just leave it. We've got to figure out, because I can't see it really on the board there. We got to figure out a way to angle that sucker up. They're trying to make make money. So you see that they're kind of following. Before they used to make their very own specific enduro bikes. They were kind of designed that way, and you can kind of see where KTM took this model. It's like, we're going to take our top of the line competitive motocross bike, and we're going to build everything off of that platform all the way down to the dual sport bike, including the engine architecture. They're not going to design a whole new engine. And you start looking at what the Japanese brands do. They look at the rules, the rule book that we're required to play by based on emissions, and they look at it worldwide, and they do what they have to do. And I don't think that's necessarily in each country. When I don't know if you're talking about the world or it's like kind of each country sort of determines how they're going to market their brand and market their particular bikes. And so all of the brands have a presence at like GNCC racing, and you have them at the National Enduros, and whether it's maybe not like a factory team, but they have like satellite teams that they support. So I don't think that they've really stepped back. It's just they can get the most eyeballs and the most impressions by racing motocross, and then hopefully that motocross trickles down. When you saw Honda racing in Baja, it wasn't to sell XR 600s or 650s or 450Xs. It was to sell generators and power equipment and other Honda motorcycles. And so they look at it like this, and so yeah, I don't think they've I'm not it'd be awesome if everybody had like a factory extreme enduro team and a factory Grand Prix team and as well as a GNCC team. You had guys that were doing the national enduros, but they leave that up to like a lot of times just regional areas, like dealerships will handle that or things. So yeah,
I have something to add here. Is what brand won the last two Dakar rallies?
Yeah, Honda.
Yeah,
yeah,
and I would consider that off road. So
that's good. That's a good point too.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I think he's really pointing at two strokes. They don't.
Oh, why they don't make two strokes?
Yeah, well,
Compete,
Except for
yeah.
Yamaha does.
Okay, so he's not. Maybe he's not even just talking specifically about racing. He's
I
talking.
think he's talking about.
He's talking about just two strokes.
Yeah, because there was another person. who was
Okay,
talking
because
about
that's
one,
he does. He says, "I'll give Yamaha some points here, but a long way up." Yamaha's making a very well. They used to be very affordable. It seems like the price on those has gone up just the same. But Yamaha's, like I said, it's a business. They're making something that's a little bit more affordable than the other offerings. They're pricing it in the right spot so that you can okay, I don't want to spend 10 grand for my new two stroke. I'll spend 8, 70, 75, 8, whatever it is on with the 125 and stuff. And Honda swore off two strokes. They just said, we will not build two strokes. If Honda makes another motor that's like a two stroke, they'll call it something different, kind of like an orbital. It's and then I'm really surprised that Kawasaki and or Suzuki did not come back with some product like this to kind of fit it into the market. But it's kind of a touchy area. I mean, if you're gonna bring something in and it costs that much to develop, are you ever going to recoup it in sales? It's
They know what they're doing.
if you want to do it right, it's expensive. So what else do we got there?
Let's see here. To kind of beat the dead horse, this guy was
They made a WR250 two stroke.
yeah.
I mean, you have a YZ250X, and that's about as close as you're going to get. And once you get to a certain point with a production bike, making a production bike, if you make it any more specific, you're going to just cut your market share because everybody. If you go out and you do these companies go out and they do a market research study and they start looking at what everybody does, there's a certain point where everybody's going to modify every part, everything else. So Honda just made the amazing improvement this year of putting handguards on their RX models, which that's a huge, we've been fighting for that for a long time. The US market wants handguards on off-road bikes. It's just kind of a thing, even though they're just little flag handguards and things. For them to put that on that, it was a big deal. And just similar things like when you look at a brand that has you have to pull the clutch in before the start button works. It's like somehow the lawyers get involved, and all of a sudden and when you start looking at all these different regulations, if it were the minute they start putting headlights on things, it comes with a new set of regulations. So it needs to meet some sound and emissions requirements. And this is on a federal level, not just a California thing. So I think there's a lot of things that the customer is just not super aware of. And it's tough for them to kind of, balance between these lines. Is it time for our favorite segment?
I guess.
Roost Rando?
Yeah.
Brought to you by Jimmy Lewis Off-Road Training. Hey, if you're going to the Tour Tech Rally, we have some spots open in our classes, but you have to go to the Tour Tech Rally. So that's important. That's making a lot of noise there.
Actually, someone did say they're looking forward to the Tour Tech Rally.
Yeah, Tour Tech. I hope it happens. I mean, with all the crazy stuff that's going on, I really hope that this happens. I think we need to work on your woodworking skills, and we need a better board. I'm thinking. I know this was like a last minute thing, but we had a few weeks to think about it now, so it could probably get improved. And then like a way to stand it up. Yeah, some way to stand it up. But I'll go ahead and hold it up again, and everybody can see.
Off-road kickstand.
Oh yeah, don't set it on my shot glass there. Maybe that defunct cylinder head is gonna help us out here.
I think the Tacosaurus has been used before, hasn't it?
Yeah, bring the Tacosaurus back here, and we can set it up. Let's get going on the first one here.
Read the name so I can get the
Joseph Hahn.
What was the name?
Joseph Hahn, I think.
Joseph Hahn has a 2002 DRZ 400E. He purchased for me as a surprise by my wife after she got sick many years ago. That's okay. Quit riding when she got sick, but she wasn't going to let that happen. The wife and the bike both worked out well, and I'm happy to say that I still have them both. The bike is stock other than some basics like handguard, skid plate, and handlebars. Oh, man, Joseph, I'm super stoked. I'm glad your wife got better. That's good. Can't say much for your DRZ 400. I don't know what she was trying to do with you. No, that's it. The fact that you've left that bike stock is probably the best thing you could have possibly do, because there's probably few bikes in this world that can be modified into pieces of junk as well as a DRZ. Like, you can take that thing and do all kinds of stuff to make it way, way worse every step of the way. Very few DRZ modifications that didn't either just toss the durability out the window and or make them run like poo poo. So I think it's good. I don't know if you're trying to like increase the scale with the wife stories and stuff like that. I'm actually looking for, we're trying everything here to try to increase the ratings. I mean, Logan, everything from Logan's hat to there's something that could happen on this show that would be really, that I think would just bump the ratings through the roof. But it's not going to be this DRZ, but it goes right about the middle, maybe right. So Travis is on a Suzuki, and that's a Suzuki, so it goes right there. Now don't knock it over. Come on, Logan, don't break anything. Here, I'll pin it up there. You get the next one. So everybody wonders what this segment is. This is Rooster. I know this is where you send us a picture and a description of your bike, and we tell you where it lands on our scale. Currently, the scale is bookended by a Honda ATC 185 on the endo side, courtesy of our friend of the show, George, who really kind of a little silent these days, isn't he?
Yeah, he disappeared.
No worries.
Yeah, probably because where we rate. Didn't he send a second bike in too?
He did, and
We haven't got it yet.
honestly, I think I just kind of forgot.
Oh, you
about it, 'cause
discounted
I was
it.
like, you only get one.
Oh, you'll really? Okay. Because some
maybe
people
not.
have 50 motorcycles.
We're not all
50
Jimmy.
motorcycles. I know. Well, some people say it's a problem, and other people say it's a curse, and I'm just happy. Okay, what is this, Logan? Let's see. Here's that. That's
Cindy
right.
Hayes.
Cindy Hayes. Cindy Hayes. She's a former student. She's been to my class before.
She's a beta tester as well.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, no.
Hey, we're doing some beta testing with the Jimmy Lewis Off-Road Training online riding school.
Yep.
It's we're getting there. It's it's going to be pretty amazing, and in 5 years it'll be the most amazing thing out there.
Yeah.
In 5 years, but it's not. That's not because that's some things that are coming, improvements that we were already not even talking about. Better. Let's see, a 2016 CCM GP450. Now, this is a really strange bird to begin with. So CCM was Clue's competition machine over in Europe, and they used to basically hand build. They were a frame builder, and they used to take the Rotax motors and put them in to their chassis. And I raced a CCM at a four-stroke national back when four-stroke nationals were a thing. Actually, one year I raced of course, I raced a Husaberg. I did a Husky, a CCM, a Honda XR400 that was all hopped up, and I don't think I did a DR350 because it probably blew up, kind of like a 400 would if you modify it. She has better luggage that doesn't sit on the exhaust and melt and strew my stuff along Mexican highways. It's a good modification. Double take mirrors, a high seat. And let me tell you something about Cindy. She has to be all of maybe 5'6" at the most. No way. So to have a high seat, it just shows you that maybe she's taken my class a couple times. A longer gear shifter, and she bought it new with a skid plate, handguards, and the luggage rack. Let me look at that picture real quick before we start. And notice she needs to get rid of that low front fender, though. She's going to ride in mud like this. Hey, and the good thing is I see mud on the seat, but I don't see mud all over the sides. That means she's keeping it up on two wheels, which is really, really good. So this CCM, I think it has the old BMW 450 motor in it. That's the one that spins backwards and has the clutch on the countershaft sprocket, by the way, if you were wondering. Since it's weird, and we like weird, it's going to go a little bit. It's going to go a little bit north of Endo, but it's probably hard to get parts for, and nobody knows what it is, so it's not even going to get close to that Husaberg. So we're going to just put it right about there.
Right in front of 6 days.
It's well set up. Yeah, it's almost as good as a KTM 6 days bike because it doesn't blow up like every single KTM 2-stroke, as proven by Logan Tyler. Next I'll hold this for you.
Trevor Walsh.
Trevor Walsh. Am I doing better at our procedure here, Logan?
Yeah.
I'm not taking them out of your hands. And Trevor Walsh has a 2011 Honda Sierra 450X. Oh, he's got a laundry list of stuff on this thing. That thing's a show pony. Look at that thing. I wonder if he wants to buy a couple more of those for spares, because I got some. I've got some good stuff for those things. TBT suspension, pocket ported 450R head, stainless steel valve train with dual rate springs. That's a good thing. The stainless steel valve train for durability. 450R carburetor. I'll try to get another one of those. PC full exhaust. Airbox has been modified. Golfer, rotors, lines, pads, which are not pictured. Does it have Golfer stickers on it at least? Why are they not pictured?
No, this was some of these bikes are just pictures before.
Before they got the full. He's still modifying it.
Yeah.
It's not going to stop. DDC drivetrain. That's good. Fully endorsed by this show. Full Hinson clutch. Oversized radiators. Michelin tires and bibs. Warp 9 wheels. Moose rear disc guard. A Cervis Plast. That's the way you say it in Italy. Plast, I think. IMS dry brake. GPR stabilizer. Oh, and there's a list of coming soon. It's not done yet. Oil cooler, radiator fan, chain guide gussets. That's good. Chain guide gussets on that bike is good. That's a thing. R&D power bowl. That will help even more with the power. The radiator fan's a good thing. I would warn a little bit about the oil cooler, because I don't see anything inside of there that would warrant a oil cooler, by the way, unless you're completely slipping the clutch. And if you're slipping the clutch, then maybe an oil cooler all the time. But an oil cooler, that's good. Radiator fan, that'll help when you're going slow, but this bike looks like it's made to haul ass. So I mean, the fact that the modification list is not ending, it's got to teeter right in the middle, because like those modifications could go good or bad. So far, I think he's done good, but I think there's a point where this is a very mediocre day on.
Well, I wanted more endos, but we're kind of.
Oh, did you put out a call out for endos on the show?
I will put a call right now. If you have endos, please send them in.
Yeah. No, we just want a couple things. So we have a special guest on the show tonight, because I'm working on. You can just kind of come around there. So I've been doing a lot of research on how to get better ratings on shows, and evidently, as you may have noticed, like the hat wearing and the opening boxes and stuff like wasn't getting us the 30 million. So I've resorted down to now what we call pets. This is cats, because cat videos are big on the internet. So this is Selma, everybody. If you can't see her on the podcast, you're gonna. I think. Hey Selma, if I squeeze you, will you talk? You want to talk? Look at Selma. Selma's a pretty happy cat. You're gonna hear her make the happy noise. Come over to the microphone. Make the happy noise in the microphone.
Just take the microphone to her.
Selma's the cat that went on the internet the other day and told you if you don't ride a KTM 1090 or a Husaberg 570 that you're a pussy. She did say that. She's working on her own Instagram account. She's the local killer of species on her kill list. There she goes. Yeah. Now she's doing the microphone. This cat has taken down rats, mice, chipmunks, and here's where it gets interesting. Lots of lizards. She's got a bat and a hummingbird. Like, I don't really approve of the bats and the hummingbirds or the lizards, because they all like kind of eat animals. But you don't want this thing. And by the way, this is coming out. This is Ricky Brabeck's girlfriend. Yep, that's right. Selma and Ricky are dating. This is she knows this, because anytime he comes here, he has to kick her out of the van like 3 or 4 times. But we don't tell her that. We don't let her know that he's not really interested. She just kind of thinks that way, so he just keeps her happy. That's why she doesn't run away. So say hi to Ricky's girlfriend. She's going to knock shit over and break things, but that's the way this cat works. She's just wondering why she's not getting waterboarded for coming inside this house. Because this is an outside cat. And that's how things work. So if our ratings don't go through, Matt, are we through the roof yet? We had 1 million?
They did go up, actually.
They went up with a cat on the show.
Yeah, not as high as they were when Jason Thomas was on, but...
Right, but that was just a recording.
Yeah.
Look at Selma playing with the Husaberg right now.
Oh.
She's over there cuddling the Husaberg
Oh,
570.
now she's going to go cuddle the cameras.
Yeah, let's probably break something.
Oh, there we go.
And try to kill something. But, yeah, thanks, Erica, for bringing over my Tat Cat. Yeah, ratings better go through the roof. And remember to put that on the thing. Like, just put cat video on the thing, because I think that's gonna help us out. You really got to tell a friend. You really have to share this or something, because if you think this is your little secret club, you're fooling yourself, because I'll talk to anybody and tell them how to make their motorcycle work better or worse, or laugh at them when they try to do it the wrong way. And look at all this. You're gonna have to clean all this cat fur off. That thing's an outside cat, and it really is a dirty ass cat. What do we got here?
Chance.
Don Nitzel wants to know, have I ever ridden or raced a Vor or a Verdimani? The answer is yes on both accounts. Yeah. So a Vor and a Verdimani were the same things. I actually got to race a Verdimani. I don't know how exactly it happened, but Mike Young was a factory Verdimani rider over in Europe, and somehow one of those bikes came over here, and I got to I don't know if it was at a Grand Prix or what, but then I did race a Vor that same year on the 4-stroke nationals. So yes, have done that. So what's our chance? McCamish?
Yeah.
Has a 2019. Where's our thing? 2019. I got to take a look at that. Oh, it's got checkers on it. 2019 450 XCF. He has aero cone valves and a track shock. Faster USA wheels. It has a 6th gear. And if you ever want to know how your 450 XCF can have a 6th gear, there is a story on Dirt Bike Test that tells you how to do it. It has a Recluse, an IMS tank, a GPR stabilizer, a GPR rubber bar mounts, and triple clamp. So the cat's more interesting than what I'm saying?
No, the cat's out in the garage, and
That's
they're
where it belongs.
looking
Just lock the door.
Oh, you're out there?
Yeah.
Flex bars, Jimmy Lewis approved. Mousses, as long as you lube them with proper mousse lube. LCR radiator bracing, an oversized tank mod, a fan, a Boysen super cooler, and Guts wing seat. But you know what this thing has on it? It has Checkers graphics. That's the Checkers Motorcycle Club. If you're not familiar with them, they're infamous out in the desert. They tried to get me to ride for them. Back then, I didn't party hard enough. That's why I didn't join. But one of the guys who helped me in my career quite a bit was Al Baker, who was a checker back in the day. And back in Al's day, checkers were winners. Those guys, they were all about winning. And I think somehow they could mix winning and partying to a level that was above and exceeded. Like if you were in District 37 racing desert races, you wanted to be, a checker. And yeah, so I got to figure out where. I have some stories about these guys, McConaughey and some of my Chuck Stearns, and Scott Stearns, all this things. It's all over the place here. They used to cheat though. They were called the cheating checkers, and those guys knew how to pre-ride the courses and do all that stuff, go really fast. But they had some really fast guys on there, so it's gonna go right in the middle. We'll have to debate this another time. I'm sure that'll stir some shit.
Checkers or wreckers.
Yeah. So who are the guys? Malcolm Brinks and all the guys I used to race with. Cliff Thomas is always a little bit older than myself. There was a few. Chris Crandall was Chris. I think Chris Crandall was a checker. Was he?
Bobby Farrell was a checker.
Bobby Farrell. Yeah, that was a little bit older than me. A lot of I'm just thinking of the guys that I used to race against and back in the day. Who?
Gene Hurst, but he's way old.
Oh yeah. Oh, you broke everything, Logan. That wasn't me. Okay, what do we got? What's that? You got to read the name off.
Eric Hammerstead.
Okay, the whole studio's falling over. I knew we couldn't get through a show. Craig Albert says the Suzuki needs to go below the Bearcat. Anyways, checkers are badass. Okay, take that, David. A 2018 FE 350. Okay, that's one of those older ones. I remember that. That's the one that introduced that big giant the big giant side panel thing, which now it's kind of becoming kind of standard as I remember. A Scott steering stabilizer, Jimmy Lewis approved. A Mako 360, that's the isolated bars, the rubber mounted bars for vibration or shock absorption. There is a lot of freaking cat here. That was a really bad idea. Unless that thing gets unless you get me like 20,000 views in this video, you're going to the pound. Or I'll sell you. How much is a Selma worth?
Like -25.
Negative $25. That's ain't gonna cut. I ain't paying to get rid of you, but I'll just throw you in Ricky's van next time when he's not looking. He'll take you home. Resprung for his weight with a rear shock revalve. Cyclops headlamp with an LED bulb. Fastway pegs lowered. Steps pegs. Okay, what I have to look at this.
Stegs, I bet.
Is it? He meant Stegs pegs. Those are those. Oh, he has them on there. So Stegs pegs are these things that you kind of bolt onto someplace on your bike, and they're like little bumps that stick out, kind of back below your calves or something. And they're kind of there evidently to kind of catch you or hold you onto the bike to help you grip the bike so you can't slide backwards. And I've heard them work. Heard they work really good. They bother the crap out of me. And that's just a personal thing. But I've heard they work really well for other people. And I always, because I run a riding school, and I always wonder if you're falling off the bike that bad or you need something to catch it, you probably need to rethink some of the things about your riding. Sorry, Eric. Screen removed from the end cap. Back to the Stegs pegs. They can be used as a reminder to tell you to get your ass in balance, okay, as opposed to catch you when you're falling off the back of the motorcycle. Used in that sense, I think that's okay. But if you're using them to hang on, we have a larger problem. Why not just get a sissy bar? Wheelie bar. Well, it's sissy bar. No, so when you start leaning back, it catches you. So your bitch can be on the back and fall asleep while you go riding. I mean, if you need that, then maybe JD Tuner. Those are good. Voyager Pro. That's excellent. It has tires on it. It says so right here. It says tires. That's always nice to know. The rating just went down for that. Tubeless. I think maybe he meant tubeless tires. Modified license plate holder. Giant loop bags. A 14 front sprocket. Carbon pipe guard. Plastic clutch cover guard. XP skid plate with linkage. And a seat concept seat. I like the seat concept seat. Another mediocre bike. It's going right in the middle. Matt, we need to get some variety in here. These are all like really nice bikes.
Right.
If they were on the used market and I had money, I would probably buy most of them.
Even the DR
to put in my fleet. Yeah, I have DRs 250s.
Right. Well, I told you. I warned you earlier today about this segment. You
want to give him the hat, Logan?
I'm off camera though.
Well, so we can fix that. The DRZ 400 was notoriously the worst hill climbing bike known to man. It just, the way the seat tank relationship was, and I just remember that there was hills I could climb all day long on almost any other bike, and that particular bike was just horrible for hill climbing. But I will tell you an interesting story that when I had a DRZ 400 and we were putting a lot of time on one for the magazine testing, I used to go riding with Johnny Campbell's back when he was his part of his job one day a week. He had to go trail riding with me, and this was XR 400 times. And this is part of Bruce Ogilvy's plan to make Johnny Campbell a much better rider. And so we would go riding. We'd ride really nasty trails, like about as extreme enduro as you'd ever want to do. I'd try to avoid a lot of the hill climbs because, like, Johnny's XR 400 didn't have enough power to go up them, and my DRZ 400 was just horrible at going up them, period. But the one thing the DRZ had, besides a ton of weight and all this extra stuff that the XR 400 didn't, was electric start. and I love electric start. Said this from day one. So anytime we could go riding on like really narrow like hillside trails that had like lots of rocks protruding and stuff on them, and no way to put your left foot down, I would like going riding on those and stopping. So no way to put your I don't know my left from my right. So let me think for a second here. You would kick it with the right. You couldn't put your left foot down. So you were kicking on the hillside. You'd have to, if you had a Kickstarter, you have to kick on the hillside. And I would always stop at the worst place and stop the bike. And then go, isn't this view really nice? Johnny come up, stop the bike. You know, he wouldn't want to stop it because you don't want to kickstart. I'm like, cut it, you know, kill it, give him the kill it, get him to stop it. Go, hey, isn't this a really nice view? And I start the bike and take off. And I knew at the time he was doing a lot of, you know, product development riding and stuff like this with Honda. And there needed to be somebody else down there trying to convince them that they needed electric start on their motorcycles. Because there's nothing worse than after the 50th time I've done that you know the shtick and you won't shut it off. And I'm not going to go until you shut it off, because somebody has to pay for this, because I wanted an electric start 400. I ended up making one later on. I took ATV parts and pieced together, made a really, at the time, an okay motorcycle horrible by doing this. But it had electric start. So there's my story. What is Sean Elliott says? Stegs, pegs, or seat concept seat? Is that an either or? I would go with the seat concept seat every time. But are they talking about the one that has the? So seat concepts has a seat that kind of has like I'll call it a butt pad. It kind of gets thicker in the rear, and it can do sort of the same thing. It can tell you you're kind of getting back. It's mostly meant for cushion. And here's something really funny. I don't know if I'm allowed to drop this nugget of knowledge or give this thing out, but I'll tell you what so remember there was step seats, like the motocross guys were running kind of step seats to hook them so they could sit down coming out of a turn and not get thrown back on their bike and everything. Now you notice the guys go around the turn standing up, so they learn to get rid of this. But anyways, so the step seats catch it. I now know that they're actually building seats that are a little bit wider, and they have what they call wings, go wings, on the sides of the seat, so that when you stand up, that you can, you know, squeeze the bike a little bit there, and the seat actually does that for you, and you don't. So same sort of thing, but not as intrusive. It doesn't bump into you like the pegs. And Alex Jacques says, and I know how to say his name because I know his dad. Actually, I know Alex because I saved him at a desert race one time. I don't remember exactly what happened. I don't know if parts fell off of his bike, and I told him how to scavenge parts from another part of his bike to get his bike to the finish line. Steg pegs sound dangerous for desert racing. I don't think they're that dangerous. I think, you know, it could, like, used as a reminder, I think it's a good thing. Used to hang onto the motorcycle and other things. Nice seat, but the stitching wears out quick. He's talking about the seat concept seats. I have not noticed this. I've actually worn through the covers on a couple of mine, and my stitching held good. But then again, we're in a very dry environment, so I could see where maybe if the different environments would kind of do different kinds of things. There's something else I'm supposed to be looking at there.
Oh, there was a lot of questions. I'm actually trying to scroll through which one I wanted to go through next.
Right.
Here, we can do this.
Should we
one.
put the cap back on? Because, Logan, it's going to take a long time for you to clean all this fur off this thing. So you might as well just double down, right? See if the ratings will go up.
Sean Elliott had a question right here.
What is it?
What would you prefer, the Africa Twin with a Recluse clutch or a DCT? Would love the Recluse on the smaller bikes, but I've never installed a Recluse on a larger one.
I would take the DCT because I like the kind of paddle shifting function, and when you just put it on automatic, it shifts for you, and that's kind of like to the whole next level. It acts a little bit like a Recluse clutch in the way that, you know, the way that the clutch engages as you turn the throttle. I would probably set it a little bit different, you know, the way it engages on the DCT. I know I could set a Recluse to work this way, but I would take DCT all day long because, like I said, it'll shift for you, and then if you want, you got paddle shifting options. And I mean, I've always, and I think the programming. I haven't ridden the latest Africa Twin. I've been requesting to do this, but if it got any better, it's going to be really good with DCT. I know with more experience, they're getting better stuff.
Okay. So Todd Kelly, I'm trying a. What's that? Oh,
That's a cat making noise.
Okay. I'm trying a.
Did you squeeze her?
Techno
She's
Moose Enduro.
Oh, she's locked in the garage? Well, how come she's not back on the show, Logan? We're trying to get ratings here.
Okay.
Yeah, grab her. There we go. All right, on. Okay, ratings going up.
All right, so Todd Kelly, I'm trying a Techno Moose Enduro rear on a dual sport in Colorado right now with a Tusk D Sport on the rear. Been doing lots of road miles at the beginning and at the end of days. We'll report on the longevity of the Techno Moose, as it's not supposed to break down the same as the others, according to the marketing.
So I tried Techno Mousses probably like 5 or 7 years back, and they were made of more of a plastic material. The ratings just went to shit. That's how quick you're supposed to control this thing, aren't you? Aren't you in the Cat Friends?
We were.
Seems like your dad better than you. Doesn't like me because I just like waterboard it all the time. It's like really wondering why it's not having a bad experience inside of the house. Well, this is the office. I guess as long as we keep her out of the main house, it's cool. The Techno Moose I tried a long time ago, and they were made of a more plastic material, and they had the funny thing is they were really susceptible to heat cycles from what I remember. They were fine, but after a certain amount of heat cycles, they didn't do too good. And they didn't, I'm trying to remember what they did. I think they might have been constantly shrinking, getting a little bit smaller, but it's been a while. But I'm surprised. I bet you that I'd be willing to bet that they've improved them. So, because those were very early ones that I rode with.
Okay, so Christopher Heisen, I ride a 21 500 EXC F6 days. He mentioned part of his job is to break things. Have you killed one yet, or a 500 in general? If so, I'd like to think it took a great punch or 10.
I have not had a failure. I'm trying to think of any. So the 500 EXC I just put back together the other day started making a ticking noise that was irregular, and so I found out what it was is after 500 or 600 hours. This one didn't have a timer on it. Thanks, Bob. It was an old Bob bike, so the first half of his life it never went over like 4,000 RPM. It developed this ticking noise, kind of surprisingly after believe it or not, towing another bike off of a dry lake bed where the other bike had expired. My KTM, so this other bike infected my KTM. It made a ticking noise. Then I found that the cylinder actually became worn out, so kind of out of round. It didn't spec that bad, but it was definitely worn out, and I got that fixed, and now it purrs like a kitten. That's a cat joke, and I'm trying to get more ratings because we need more ratings. Tell a friend. So I've never blown one up. The only other one that I had any issues with, and so we had another guy that was helping us here, and he failed to oil the filter properly. And so right after I put a top end in it at 400 hours, it was actually 390 hours. It sucked a whole bunch of sand, and the bike started detonating quite a bit because of this. And I put another piston in it and didn't do anything else, and it's still running. So those things, they're pretty damn indestructible. I don't have any problems. And I talk to Chris Blaze all the time, who rebuilds these things for a living, and he really doesn't rebuild a whole lot of these. And when he does, it's like, I don't really need to, but people just say, hey, I put 300 hours on this thing. I want to. Easy on Travis there, bro. I'm going to break him.
He breaks himself.
Ratings are going up, right? Good. The chart, I can see it skyrocketing.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be afraid of that at all. You could. I don't really try to break them. But I don't think I mean, you can break anything if you want to. When I get told to break something, but KTM does that on their own. They don't ask me to do it. So
So Sean Elliott had another question. Have you used the G2 throttle tamer? Is the throttle tamer better for tight woods?
this is a good question. So yes, I've used G2 throttles before. They make a bunch of different ones. They make ones that are more aggressive, less aggressive in different spots, all kinds of stuff like that. And it was funny because I thought since I like smooth power, I would want a more mellow throttle tube. And after testing that, and also Motion Pro made this whole throttle kit that had a bunch of different pulleys on it that worked out really good. It'd be nice if we, tried to not have her, shoot the beef at the camera. You changed the camera because we gotten cat beef shots. Yeah, right on, Selma. Good job there. Like Ricky's not watching anymore, so you don't have to do that crap. Yeah, easy. I lost my train of thought, but I was talking about throttle cam tubes, right?
Motion Pro.
Yeah, so I got a Motion Pro throttle, a whole bunch of different ones, and I found that I like the most aggressive throttle I could ever put on it because I'm very particular about I want real wrist to rear wheel connectivity, and here's the reason why. Jimmy, your bike sucks. A lot of people don't like this. It's too much. They don't have that kind of. They don't want to have that kind of control or need to have that kind of control. So I've tried them, and it's definitely a personal preference. If you find yourself to be a little whiskey throttle with the whiskey throttle on the throttle on accident, a more mellow throttle tube could really help out. So it's something to test. And if you can buy one that has multiple different as opposed to having to switch out the throttle tube each time, there's some that have different gears that go on them, and you can try different ratios and. It does make a difference. It doesn't change the way the bike runs. It just changes the control you have over it. How it works out. So
Ricky Brayback asked what you think he actually needs.
He needs a cat. He needs a new kitty cat girlfriend. Because if she doesn't get the ratings, you're going to get a cat whether you like it or not.
So Jim Clark had a question. I don't know if it's a little too specific without having a sheet here, but he's saying 2004 KTM 525, wants to know the best jetting specs for 6,000 to 10,000 feet.
Okay, so I'm just curious about this, Logan. Carburetors used to have jets in them, right? This is like a little history lesson for you. And there's a main jet and a pilot jet and a needle clip position.
Yeah.
And then there's a pump squirt nozzle called what they call it a pump squirt regulating jet.
Mm-hmm.
Bleed off. It was called the bleed off jet inside of there. And that's just the big things. You can also change the slide. And so I'm just off the top of my head going to rattle off. Jim, you think he's ready for these numbers? He's got his pen and paper out.
Let's hope.
I'm gonna just I don't know this. How the hell am I gonna? How the hell do I know all these numbers? So if I'm gonna tell you how you should approach this, because I do have a 2004 KTM 525, and I could not for the life of me tell you what jetting is in it, but I know that it runs well. And when we ride around here, we're starting at 2,000 and we go up to about most of the time maximum 7, but usually you're riding around 3, 4 is thing, and it runs really good. If I were going to take my bike for 6,000 to 10,000 feet, I would, in this order, go down one on the main jet, one on the pilot, and raise the needle clip one position from stock, which is I'm pretty sure where the jetting is right now, stock, and that will probably achieve you the same sort of rideability that you have down here up at 6 to 10. And then you might want to play around with the fuel screw just a little bit, but that should get you in the ballpark. And then at that point, you need to hire a jetting specialist that, my day rate would be if I had to come and jet your KTM 525, it's not that hard to get the carburetor out. $1,200 a day. I'll come and get that thing working tits. And then what'll happen at the end of that day is you will take that well-jetted bike home, sell it, and then buy a KTM 500. Just saying. See how I always tell people what they need before they even need it, right?
Yeah, a new bike.
So save the $1,200 you're going to pay me to come with you, and just put that money towards the 500, and then because the 500 will jet itself. Do you have any other thing that's important, Logan?
The real reason for the hat, or the semi-real reason the package is back here.
Oh yeah, we got to open packages. That's right, we got some new packages. So this is the next segment. It's a totally sponsorable segment on Tech Talk Taco Tuesday.
Both of our segments are.
It's Matt's actually reaching out to people that want to do this. Kat probably wants to get in the bag though, so go ahead and rip that thing open. This just showed up in the mail today. Luckily, it comes from a sponsor of ours. This makes it easy. This is Climb's. I can already tell because I actually kind of broke it open a little bit. This is Climb's new 2020, probably 2022 Dakar gear. Yeah, put the cat in the bag. It's plastic. It doesn't say do not put cat in the bag, right? Anywhere? Then you can do it. Yeah, go for it. Look at, she's totally excited about this. She's like, yeah, let me in. Yeah, see, this is good. Now we're combining two big traffic generators.
Yeah.
Cats and opening boxes on the show. You never thought we could get to this level.
I never thought.
So it's new colorways. Look at this. Let me check. Let's open it up here. Open up the other bag because I think it's the pants too. I don't know how to get it. Oh, here we go. See, I hope that if you're listening to this on a podcast, you're getting all jealous because you get to hear us opening up packages. It's like Christmas around here. I like this. I like this colorway. This is gray and black. Oh, check out the. Can you see the logo? It's doing something funny in the lights. Reflective or something.
Yeah, the logo's cool, but the tan kind of reminds me of like a hearing aid.
A hearing aid.
Yeah, almost like the color of a hearing aid.
Right. So this is what you're going to see Jimmy wearing in his next off-road video. If I do, I've got you in my pocket. I've got pockets, so I don't have to put you in my crotch. Look at this. Yeah, silver. Cool. Because my last pants I've been wearing wearing the black stuff and no good in the heat. So, yeah. Look at that. The new Dakar line. It's got zipper. Check this vent out. You're like, listen. Yeah, that's not what you think's going to come out. That's just a vent there.
Oh, Selma found found some boxes to hide.
She's in there shopping for the t-shirts.
Yeah.
The old t-shirt department. That color's a little feminine, right?
I don't know, I like that.
You like that color?
I
Teal.
actually like it more than the other one.
day.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd rock that.
All day.
I don't know about you guys.
It's fine.
Yep.
Yeah,
So it's
we
a
can all have
teal
opinions.
color. No, it's the new colorways. I think a lot of the gobble it up quick because I think it's selling out fast, but they'll probably have more stock a little bit later. So thank you, Climb, for actually longtime supporter. And I've been wearing Climb since they first got into the dirt bike stuff, and I'm still wearing it because it's actually really good. And I think the cat's going to cause a lot of problems in here.
Yeah.
This is a really bad idea overall. Now she probably thinks she can come in here at any time she wants. But okay, dear Climb, we need bright colors to avoid head-ons. Yeah, I don't think that's going to help. Yeah. Oh, we have somebody that's done that before. I've had a couple head-ons on trails. The gear didn't matter. Generally, it was this. It was.
Smashed
The side by side.
Oh.
He ended up in the front seat of the side by side.
Remember that story?
Yeah, it's like kind of the speed of the riding and stuff that makes that difference. Okay, so you got all that for free? I'm dang lucky. No, I earned it. Nothing's free. Oh, speaking of that, I had something else for you, Logan.
Hold on.
Okay, so we're going to end the show on this note, and this goes to you, Jesse, as well too. So I was rifling through some of the crap that I had out in my shop. I actually cleaned my shop up quite a bit. Kind of like Logan's going to have to do this cat fur festival that we're having now. I found this sign that it was from the king of the motos, and it says, what does it say, Logan?
Easy way.
It says Easy Way. That's all you need to say. So it's a big sign I'm holding in my hand. It says the Easy Way. And the funny thing is, when you find out in life, this is your Jimmy's moment of pontification. When you find that you're going easy way, you'll find that when you start looking at what you're really doing, you're doing it the wrong way. Yeah. The easy way can often be the wrong way. There's the right way, but it may not necessarily be the easy way. So Logan, I just wanted to hand that to you there, and just so you pay attention to that. Did that sink in a little bit through that taco hat that I made you wear this whole time?
Yeah.
You really, I think the taco hat's for the. You should have stopped that before it got as bad as it did, because your life is going to suck having to ride a CRF 125 for the next few months while we're trying to back order all these parts, right? So, anyways, on that note, I think we will see you out on the trail, right, Logan?
Yeah.
Cheers.